Did you ever wonder what could have been with the AWA had things gone differently? Had their fortunes gone differently? Had certain wrestlers not left and perhaps more money would have been at the disposal of the Gagnes? Well, wonder no further. You can go to Brad Drake's YouTube channel and experience the 1987 Supermod for yourself, as Brad Drake starts off in May 1987 along with Greg Gagne, Baron von Raschke, Vern Gagne himself, Nick Bockwinkel, Larry Zbyszko, Kurt Hennig, and a slew of others as he plays and saves the AWA.
Do you ever wonder what would happen if
you give a dad a podcast?
I'm what you call a nerdy fan. I nerd out at this stuff, hardcore.
You'll hear me talk about anime on here. You'll hear me talk about Power Rangers. You'll hear me talk about wrestling on here.
Okay.
I had an axe handle with a Twisted Tea on it. It was right after that Twisted Tea video went viral. And man, they went out and grabbed it and smacked a dude in the head with it. It was so...
That's great. I'd like to think of this podcast as a nostalgia moment for me. It's a show where I can talk about whatever I want.
I'm a human animal chiropractor. There was a picture of me. It looked like I was on the side of a ramen box over in China. But
So I took my kids with me to Comic-Con.
I thought that was really cool.
Well, I don't know if my wife should listen to this podcast.
We'll cut that part out.
You hope. Be like, and then Robert said this.
If You Give a Dad a Podcast. Available now on all podcasting platforms.
Hey everyone, this is Brian Ferguson, the host of Bumps and Thumps, the Talk of Wrestling. We are on today because of you. And in order to continue the podcast and get the guests on here that require some financial compensation, we're going to need help from people like you. Right now, we're attempting to get our YouTube videos monetized through YouTube. We need 1,000 subscribers in order to do that. So I've decided that if the 1,000 subscriber will get a free t-shirt like this from me and come on the show as a guest on the podcast. So subscribe today, and that 1,000 subscriber will be contacted by me and be given a t-shirt and come on the show. So subscribe today. If you already have, thank you. If you haven't, please do, and tell your friends and subscribe today, and we'll talk to you soon and enjoy the podcast. Welcome to another edition of Bumps and Thumps, the Talk of Wrestling. My guest today is known as the Natural Born Villain. He is the promoter and wrestles for the organization called Wrestling for a Cause and wrestles for Mid-States Wrestling and other independent promotions. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Tim, the Natural Villain Rockwell. Tim, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Hey, man, no problem. I really appreciate you reaching out and bringing me on, man. I love doing these podcasts, and the more I get to do, the more our story gets out there, and the more we get to talk about Wrestling for a Cause.
Yeah, I actually, last year, about this time, actually, I first saw you at Mid-States in Harrison, Arkansas. It was the Bobby Eaton Invitational.
Yes, Bobby Eaton. Okay.
Yeah, that was my first exposure to you and to Mid-States and all those guys. And I was just so impressed with all of you, how you guys conducted yourselves. And I just kept wanting to come back. And I have a few times when you guys are in Springfield, Missouri, and absolutely love you guys. So I am so glad you were able to come on tonight and do this podcast with us. So appreciate it, my friend. Appreciate it.
That's awesome, because you get to see a side of me that you wouldn't get to see it Wrestling for a Cause, because it's a different villain over there. You know, he's over there helping children with cancer. Yeah. But yeah, you get to really get to see the actual natural born villain over there in Mid-States, and I love Mid-States so much. So it's I just love I love the atmosphere, just like the fans, the reaction that I can get from the fans. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'll be honest, you look like a villain when you're there. You look like one. You act like one when you're coming out into the ring and when you're doing your wrestling and all that. And you do it beautifully. And to me, honestly, that's kind of a lost art in the bigger promotions, and it's kind of a lost art. And for me anyways, and I know for probably a lot of fans out there that go to your shows, or if they haven't, they need to, that you do it old school to me anyways. And that's a missing piece today in today's wrestling.
I get a lot of flack from some of my peers because I'm so old school, and I don't do this new school. Man, not everybody can be the same. Not everybody's going to do the same. And I decided that I wanted to continue doing what you said is a lost art in professional wrestling. And that's not just the character, but the storytelling itself, because that's how I've always based my entire characters off, is I've got to emotionally adapt to this crowd. Right. I got to figure out how to get the crowd to believe that I am really this guy. And I feel like I do a really good job at that. And that ain't just a lost art in the big time, but it's a lost art right in the indie scenes, because everybody wants to be the cool bad guy. Yeah. They want to be the Hall and Nash. You know what I mean? I don't, man. I want to be the natural born villain. Like I want people to boo me, hate me. I'm going to shake your hand if you buy my merchandise 100% every time, because I'm just a good customer service like that. But in the end, when I walk through that curtain, if you're cheering me, you're going to be booing me by the end of the night, because that's my job. That's my job. And that's how I like to portray it, because I want people to not really hate me, but for the moment, really hate me. So I appreciate that. That means a lot, saying the things like that, because I feel like storytelling and that character of a bad guy, it's a lost art. It's old school. And I feel like old school, there's still a place for old school in professional wrestling. Even though we've evolved, there's always going to be a spot for old school, in my opinion. Sure, not a whole card. I get it. Yeah. But I mean, you could say that, but you go look at Mid-States, man, they're putting on phenomenal shows, and it's all old school. So, I mean, hey.
No, I agree. When I saw you, like I said, last year, it was amazing. I was like, oh my goodness, I haven't seen this type of wrestling show in years. And I've been to a lot. I've been to indies. I've been to the WWE events, the AEW events, and I mean, I just can't say enough about not just Mid-States. I follow Wrestling for a Cause. I haven't been to a show yet. I plan on getting to one soon. But it's just a lost art to me. And in fact, I talked to Jason Jones a couple of weeks back when he was in. We were at the Cauliflower Alley Club reunion. He was there too, and I was talking about that.
I'll be there next year.
All right, good.
Yeah, I'll be there next year.
Good. I'm really excited about you guys and what you guys are doing. So, what I want to get into now, if we could, a little bit, is talk about growing up. Where are you from originally? Growing up, kind of your childhood, things like that. How you got into wrestling.
All right, well, strap in the seatbelt, man, and let's do this. So, I grew up here in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Okay.
I moved around quite a bit. I lived with my dad for the most part, and then I would go with my mom on the weekends. And the cool part about going with my mom is she was married to the guy Robert, who was my stepfather my entire life until recently when he passed. But he so happened, his sister, it's crazy, his sister was married to a wrestling promoter.
Oh, okay.
And had so they had their own wrestling promotion. So every Saturday night, my stepdad and my mom would let me go with my aunt wrestling from. This is probably from the night about 1990 to 93 or so, 94, 95 in that area.
Mm-hmm.
I went every Saturday, sat pretty much next to the same people every time, man, and it was like a time of my life. And I knew when I was going there, like, this is what I want to be. I didn't know I was going to be a wrestling promoter.
Yeah.
I knew I was going to be a wrestling professional wrestler. I had to figure out how to do it. So, I'd always talk to my dad. My dad did not care. He's like, if you want to be a pro wrestler, go be a pro wrestler. You want to be a clown, be a clown. I don't care. Do something with your life. Be something that you want,
Yeah.
So I had this weird obsession with clowns. When everybody was scared of clowns, I loved clowns. Like, clowns were which is why I'm a huge Joker fan, yada, yada, yada,
Yeah.
So, but I went every time. I watched them set up. I watched them work their matches. I watched them go over their matches. I saw it all, man, and I still thought it was real.
Yeah.
Still thought it was real. I was smartened up later as I got older into a teen, because I told my Uncle Raymond, I said, I want to do this. I want to be a professional wrestler. I want to do this. And he I had to graduate high school. That was a big deal between my dad, my mom, everybody. Graduate high school, you can be whatever pro wrestler you want. So in the process, I started doing like amateur wrestling and stuff like that. I did I wrestled for like 3 years. Most of my sports I stopped doing in 10th grade because I got into like smoking weed and doing I thought I was doing the cool stuff with the cool kids, and pretty much ruined my baseball career, which I had basically a scholarship to play baseball for, and I chose marijuana over it. So,
sorry to hear that.
But I would have never became a professional wrestler. I would never start WFC if I'd have done all that. None of this would have ever happened.
Yeah.
So I look at it like I was supposed to. Something like that was supposed to happen. May not have to do with marijuana or anything, but something like that was supposed to happen in my life. But so I finished high school. My dad had a major heart attack at 47. I want to say he was 47. He had a major heart attack, and the main thing he really wanted was me to graduate high school.
Yeah.
Graduate high school. Please graduate high school. So I went back to school. I graduated high school. I got my diploma. My dad kicked me out of the house. My dad kicked me out of the house because I was just doing teenage stupid stuff, coming home late, drinking, stuff that teenagers shouldn't be doing but did anyways in the 90s and early 2000s. So I ended up moving in with my mom down in Grapevine, Texas. Then we moved up to League City, Texas, Houston, Texas, Dallas. Lived all in that area a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Then I moved back. My mom moved back, and the moment we moved back, I told her I wanted to go to wrestling school.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to become a professional wrestler. Now, there was like 2 years of my life that there was no wrestling in my life, no Raw, no none of that, because like I was out of the loop, and then I started getting back into it, and I told myself, like, my dream is to be a professional wrestler. It was never to be a baseball player, or football player. I love watching sports and everything, but like my dream has always been a professional wrestler. That ever since I was 2 years old, that's what I said. I wanted to be was a pro wrestler. Every time in school, they used to say, hey, at the end of the year, you had to fill out what you was going to be. And every single time it was professional wrestler. I remember I was like in the 11th grade filling that out, and they're like, dude, don't you think you're a little bit old? I'm like, actually, I'm not old enough to be a pro wrestler. That's the problem. And even now, I'm 30 now and 39. They're like, aren't you a little old to be a pro wrestler? I'm like, no, actually, I'm in my prime, to be honest.
Yeah.
Anyways, I graduated high school. I'm living with my mom. My mom's giving me her vehicle to go to training school, which was in Tulsa, and we was living in Owasso, which is like about 25 miles apart where I was training at. So me and my Uncle Bernie was a wrestler. At the time, he was retired. He took me to this school, Steel Rage Pro Wrestling School, which was being ran by Dexter Hardaway. And I started training there. Met actually some of my friends that I have today. Met my friend that we just recently did a memorial show, Jake McCoy. That's where I met Jake at.
Okay.
He was already a wrestler. So I went through the training. I trained Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, every week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and sometimes Saturdays when we had to set up for a show. But every week, I never missed a week. I trained for, I think it was 6 months, if I'm mistaken, but 4 days a week before they put me in the show. And then I continued training after that. But then they put me in the show, and this is 2004.
Okay.
So here I am. I started training in late 2003. Here it is, 2004, and I'm being put in a match. And I tell my entire family about it. Everybody, come out. Tickets were $5 to get in at the time, you know. Everybody, come out, dude. We pulled in like, oh my God, I had so many people. So I was so over, just freaking like the most over guy on the roster at the time. And I'm just in a battle royal as a rookie, you know, and I went into battle royal. I think they played a little favorite tonight. He brought the crowd, let him win. Ended up winning the battle royal. And the adrenaline I got that night was something I never had in my entire life.
Yeah.
Like, wow, that was cool. So that was the start of where I was headed to become a professional wrestler. Like, I've been around professional wrestling my entire life, but I've never been in it. Now I'm actually in that business, you know, and at this time, my uncle Raymond, who had owned the Wrestling Federation when I was a kid, was the cameraman, because he was putting together the TV show for him.
Okay.
So like he was there. So he was the no, I'm sorry. No, he was the manager of the bad guy stable that was beating me up. and he was doing the camera work and all that stuff, you know. So yeah, so that was like and my other Uncle Bernie was a part of that same stable. They're like New Texas Outlaws, and they beat me up, and it was surreal because I grew up watching these guys. Now they're beating me up. Ended up going to feud with them, and I didn't really start getting better till like 4 or 5 years in. Because the first 3 years I was very spotty. You know, let's do spot, and then it was like finally one day it clicked.
Yeah. That's cool.
You're doing too much. Slow it down, bud.
Yeah.
Slow it down, man.
Yeah.
So I started doing seminars, started talking to legends, you know, like Trevor Murdoch and guys like that. And they like, you know, like I did like a Ricky Steamboat seminar, and like they taught me the things that I was missing in professional wrestling. The thing like I was there, but I wasn't getting it. I wasn't clicking. And then, you know, once I understood hey, there's a story to every match. There's a story to everything.
Yeah.
Utilize storytelling, utilize psychology, and utilize not being so much of a spot monkey, which I have against. Just
you're right.
Not my
cup
of tea.
Yeah.
Not my cup of tea. So I started focusing on storytelling. So I'd go back and I'd watch like Ole Anderson, Arn Anderson. I'd watch everything I could get my hand on, and watch the psychology, watch the movement, learn everything. So then I picked up and started doing this Texas gimmick after my uncle and them were doing it. So I'm doing this Texas gimmick, and then about 2012, I decided that I needed to change. I need something different. Like, I'm evolving as a wrestler. I'm becoming better.
Yeah.
So I was watching that movie, Natural Born Killers.
Ah.
Man, that's such a cool name. I would love that name. But what? I can't be a natural killer. And then I remember they had the Natural Born Thrillers and Thrillers. What was that in WCW? Natural Born Thrillers.
I believe so. Yeah, that sounds right. Something like that.
And I was and then I was like wanting to do a villain character because I was wanting to take bits of my favorite villains and kind of create a character behind it.
Yeah.
And I was like, the Natural Born Villain. And then my buddy John Cross was like, dude, that would be a great stable. So we kind of started a stable with it. And then I was like, well, since we ain't gonna do that with the stable, I want to continue being the Natural Born Villain. So I started becoming, and by the way, this is before Marty Scurll.
That's right. Yeah.
I just financially wasn't there like he was.
Right.
But I think I won that one.
Yeah.
So I started thinking like, okay, how do I do this? So I was like, okay, I'm gonna be this villain. I'm gonna wear black and purple and try to be like a William Regal style villain, you know. It didn't work. I was like, okay. So then I moved to the black and white. Like, okay. Then I started donning like a little mask for my entrance.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I wore like leather vest, or not, sorry, a leather jacket like Negan. Like, okay. I was like, that's too much Negan. So I had to throw the vest away. So then I switched it up to like, my buddy of mine said, dude, you should wear like a hooded vest. Not like AJ Styles, but like a hooded vest.
Yeah.
Okay. So I got the hooded vest, ended up getting like new gear to match. It was like red and black. Then I took like pieces from my old gear and I started putting it on the vest, you know, like logos. And I ended up getting like this Natural Born and putting it on the hood. So when I came out, it said Natural Born, you know?
Yeah.
And that's when I started wearing a vest. And then I was like, so I started taking like bits and pieces. I started taking pieces from Negan, pieces from Joker, you know, and just pieces from like bad guys from the 80s.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm going to get a 3-foot crowbar. I'm going to paint it black and or I'm going to paint it red and black. I'm going to call it Shirley, and it's going to be my best friend. And it's what's going to get me by, and I could blame all my bad doings on Shirley. It wasn't me that hit you, it was Shirley that hit you, you know. And like it got to the point where like fans were like chanting Shirley, you know, or fans were like calling it my girlfriend or whatever, and I was like, you're hurting her feelings, you know. And they're like, oh, it's a crowbar, it doesn't have feelings. I was like, touch it. It's like, it's cold. I said, that's a filling, jackass. So, you know, it's just, I love it, man. It's really cool. So it's like, it's crazy, and I try to evolve it every time. Try to do something different, you know, because it's like, and now I'm balanced between a good guy and bad guy. Good guy, but in Oklahoma, you're a good guy. Arkansas, you're a bad guy. You know?
That's the good thing. It's good because it's kind of like during the time of the territories, you know, the kayfabe, where you're kind of far enough apart. I know social media is a little more, you know, but I mean, you could play that good guy wrestling for a cause in Oklahoma, and then you drive to Springfield or Harrison or wherever, which is, you know, a few hundred miles. You got a few hundred miles, and you know, unless they're following every move you're doing, they're probably not gonna, you know. I mean, I didn't know it until I just started doing some digging. I thought you were a bad guy all the time, a heel, because you did it. You do it, and I know I keep saying this, but it's so true. You do it so well. You look the part. You when you come out there and you do the stomping and all that stuff at the ringside, you know, and you slap the mat when something doesn't go your partner's way that's in the ring. You just have all that natural, I guess, believability. Villainous and believability of that. Okay, this guy is really, you know, ticked off, upset. You know, when like you had the last one, I believe you had somebody you went to the ring with, and they were getting pounced around, and you'd be on the side slapping the mat, and I just enjoy that because you don't see that anymore, and very rarely, and I just enjoy it, and I can't say enough about it. I know I'm kind of harping on it. I'll get off the soapbox.
No. But that's one of the, like I said, that's one of the main things. It's good to, for one, talk about.
Yeah.
And one, like those are the things that some people don't realize. That's what's missing in pro wrestling until they see it.
Yeah.
Just like you didn't realize, hey, that's missing. Like, wow, that is missing from a lot of guys when you break it down.
Yeah.
So it totally it's good to know that it's noticed by other people because we're in an era now where you don't get put over by the boys anymore, So like you have to worry what the fans think, and that's what's important to me is what the fans think. Like I don't care if Bob Thornton in the back didn't like my match. I want to know the guy that paid $25 for the ticket, what he thought of that match, and that's what matters to me.
Yeah, I think you guys are and the whole group down there at Mid States. Like I said, they're all good. They're all on they're running on all cylinders to me. I talked to Johnny Dynamite about a month and a half maybe.
AD there, huh?
Yeah, I had him. You're going to be your tag team partner here in a couple weeks.
Yeah. I'm cool with him now.
Yeah, you're good with him now. Yeah, but yeah, and it's the same thing. How old he is. He's very young, but he's very good at what he's doing. So he's learned the fundamentals. He's got it down good, and that's the great thing about from what I see from Mid States and Wrestling for a Cause is that you guys aren't just wrestling. You're telling a story. You're mentoring guys that are young and getting that back into where it should be. And that's, to me, and I know I keep harping on this on my soapbox, but it's just the missing piece today to me. I watched 3 hours of Raw, and most of it's they're in the ring talking about whatever, and then you get a match for like 5 minutes where the storytelling should be the match and not you talking on the mic for 15 minutes. I don't know. That's just me, but
that's the difference between mainstream and indie wrestling, though. Indie wrestling, like in Mid States, you're barely going to get a promo. You're lucky if anybody even gets on the microphone in Mid States. Right. But that's the old school mentality of Jason Jones, Yeah. My place, we have a TV show, so there's a few promos here and there, but every time you're guaranteed leaving with 6 or 7 matches, So, I think that's a lot big difference in between like WWE, AEW, and indie wrestling. Is indie wrestling, well, AEW, they're going to give you a lot of matches.
They are,
but WWE is going to give you more storytelling. Keep you following, keep you up there. Like I'd say right now, WWE is the best spin probably that I can remember because I'm invested, but that's not saying a whole lot, I'm more invested in indie wrestling, so that's where I'm at.
Well, that and two, to me, it's cheaper to buy a ticket. You can pay $20, you're in the ringside. And you get to interact with the guys, men and women, before the match, during intermission, at the end of the show. You can go up and say hi or whatever, talk to him for a few minutes, heel or babyface, doesn't really matter. And they're going to give you the time. Mm-hmm. And I get, they're the big time, they don't have a lot of time to hang out or whatever, but it's just kind of to me like you're paying all this money.
I feel like that's bullcrap because I feel like they should make the time.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, they're making a lot of money.
I'm going to say we're because we're the reason that they're there. I'm not saying that, hey, we pay your paycheck, sir. No, not at all. But like, I feel like if you're going to take your time out of your life to come watch me perform, I'm going to take time out of my life to thank you. You know what I mean? And that's all it is. A simple thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Here's an autograph. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I totally understand. I wanted to ask you interaction with other wrestlers and promoters. Have you ever worked in WWE or AEW or any of those Impact for any period of time?
Let's see. In 2006 and 2007, I did two things with the WWE, but they were paid, but nothing on TV. I was backstage, worked out with them and all that, but nothing majorly. I have worked a few names here and there, a few legends. I've worked with bigger legends and bigger guys that's been in this business, and I've learned from them. I've lost that dream of ever wanting to be a WWE wrestler a long time ago.
Yeah.
Like when I started WFC, like I knew my WrestleMania moments were going to be right here at Wrestling for a Cause.
Yeah.
Like those are my moments, you know. Yeah. Those are the things, because I get for 2.5 hours, I get to take this child that's fighting cancer, right? And I get them to forget cancer exists.
Yeah.
For 2.5 hours, they get to escape reality and be a fan, jump up and down, have fun.
Yeah. And
then they can go home and then they're back to reality. But like that, those are the moments. Like nothing's bigger than that. Like you could put me in the sidekick of Bray Wyatt for all I care. That wouldn't be as big as what I do at Wrestling for a Cause. You know, like we've been going strong for 11 years. You know, close to $200,000 raised. You know, and now we're at a point now that we're getting ready to take off, because now we got corporate sponsors getting involved now. We got other nonprofits getting involved. We're getting ready to be full 501c3. So now that we'll get like government funding and grants, you know, like everything we need. You know, we started a relationship. We started a relationship with EC3, and we're doing pretty good with EC3 right now. And James Storm, it loves what we're doing. He's spreading the word about Wrestling for a Cause. So. And we got a few more big shows coming up. Like I think we got a big one coming up in February. Then we got Extrava Slams 2 coming up in August. So like, and I'm trying to make, and each year I'm going to make them bigger and bigger and bigger. And like we were a small company that started from doing like 1 show a year, 6 shows a year, to 12 shows a year. Now we're like 24, 26 shows a year.
Oh,
you know,
wow.
it's like.
Great.
It's just growing and growing and growing and getting bigger, and like it's awesome, because like we got the most amazing people you could be around for 12 hours a day are right there at Wrestling for a Cause. We got some of the coolest, most awesome people, because they care about the cause. They show up early. They help set up. They're there all day. They take a little lunch break. They come back. They hang out. We put on a great wrestling show. Yeah. They're there. They stick around. They tear down. You know, it's like it's a huge family, and then you know, and it's just a family business. Because you know, I got my wife. She runs the kitchen and concession area. You know.
Okay,
and,
great.
My mom, before she got cancer, she was running the front door. My sister works there. You know, so it's like. My kid helps out every now and then, but not often. But so it's like everybody else, they're family to me. Like the entire family, and that's what it takes to continue your success. You know, but that's Wrestling for a Cause, man. It's such a great, awesome place to be.
I wanted to ask you about Wrestling for a Cause. What made you want to start a promotion for, you know, fighting cancer, and talk a little bit, if you would, about, you know, you talk about some corporate sponsors and stuff, but really how you got it off the ground, I guess, is what I'm trying to find out, is how you got it off the ground and all that.
Okay, so I was on Facebook. I saw something on this radio station's Facebook group, and there's this guy named Tom talking about trying to raise money for this little boy named Ryder, who was fighting stage 4 brain cancer.
Okay.
I was like, "Yeah, man, I don't know what I could do to help. Maybe we can do a pro wrestling benefit show."
Yeah.
He's like, "I'm in." So I reached out to Compound and Mike and Steerwalt and all them, and I talked them into, renting me the stuff, and let's do a show for this little boy. So we did our first show October 21st, 2011 with Compound. It was
Okay.
the first Wrestling for a Cause show. And we raised, I want to say like $1,800 that show. And I was like,
Okay.
that's pretty cool. We could raise
Yeah.
money like that. But then I ended up becoming real good friends with Ryder, so I'd always hang out with Ryder. We'd wrestle around and all that.
Yeah.
Then I ended up doing another show the following year in 2012 for this little girl named Chelsea Brooke, which was Jake McCoy's very last show that he had ever done, because he ended up retiring. And then we raised, I'd say 1,300 maybe. We didn't have that many auction items.
Okay.
Like $1,300, and the dad was so freaking happy. But Chelsea Brooks ended up passing away like a few days before the event. And then 2013 rolled around. More families were interested. Hey, how do we get this happen? So I found the Wausau Sertoma Center, and we started running there more, and started helping more families. And I think the time I got to the fifth family, Ryder had passed away. So like it put a big drop in, like, if I even wanted to do pro wrestling anymore, or if I even went to these benefits anymore, because like I can't handle this, And Shirley, which that's what my crowbar is named after, Shirley, which is Ryder's grandmother, showed up at my house one day.
Okay.
And she's like, "This is your calling, like you're meant to help these children. Oh, hello, this is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Don't give up just because we lost Ryder. Like, continue his legacy." So I continued, and I kept it going, and then more people got interested, more families got interested. So we continued just rolling with it, and then we started like a not-for-profit and became not-for-profit, and then we never financially could make it to the 501c3 part, so we started kind of piggybacking off other 501c3s, because they're like, "Hey, just piggyback off us till you get off your feet." So we're trying, and then it just kept getting bigger and bigger, more families, more, not just families, but causes. Like, other people needed help. Like, we'd even do a fundraiser for a baseball team,
Okay.
People would do fundraisers for us so we could have cool things, like
Yeah.
I had a buddy that one of my buddies did a softball tournament for us so we could get a sound system,
Yeah.
Then we had this company in the UK that donated the very first WFC championship. Well, not the first one, the Hometown Heroes Championship we brought over from another company from Kansas. But the WFC championship, it was a $2,000 belt donated to us because of the cause,
Yeah.
Wow. Then a buddy did another softball tournament, raised $1,300, and the dude ended up making us tag belts for $1,300. And then, so like it just kept going. And then like we would, any profit we would make would go like into the company, but we always paid out to the family, and we only made our profit like off T-shirts. So all the ticket sales and the auction items and all that, we gave straight to the family, send them a check or cash that night or whatever. And I tried to send them a check, that way it could be noted, in tax purpose. So it's like, it just, one of those things that when everybody gets behind something really, really awesome, it becomes something big, And now it's at the point now that it's like, I got corporate sponsors wanting to make us like a household name, right here in Tulsa. Like, not so much on a national level, but on a local level.
Yeah.
Like year-round entertainment. Like they're wanting to get us the right funding, building, everything we can get, And sure, it could be pipe dreams. We don't know, but this guy, this is what he does. He takes small nonprofits and makes them 501c3s, so
Yeah.
that's what they do,
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to take WFC to another level, because we've done things, Tulsa Drillers now, Tulsa Oilers, and Safari Joe's, and now that we've got Extravas Slams, I'm just trying to do things that isn't being done right here in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Trying to create a different atmosphere, but at the same time, raise money for families and help families out while putting on one of the best products that you can see, especially right. Good spots. They hate me, but there's a few good spots. I'll give them credit. It's just one of those things, man, that you got to worry about yourself, and that's how I made WFC what it is today.
Yeah.
Not just me. I don't want everything taking all the credit.
Right.
It takes an entire team.
Right.
It takes a business partner. It takes the wrestlers, the staff, everything it takes.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why we are who we are and why we continue doing what we're doing for 11 years,
Yeah. No, it sounds like a great organization. I actually did some reading on it today before we came on, and it sounds like just a great organization. It sounds like what the big promotions was doing in the 70s and into the mid 80s. I would watch back in the day, like the American Wrestling Association. They do these fundraisers, Wrestling for a Cure for Muscular Dystrophy. The WWF back in the 70s would do shows for diabetes for kids, and kids, things like that. And you just don't see, WWE does Connor's Cure, things like that. But it's not at a local level. It's not for a specific, organization.
Yeah, it's for basically it's for a cure. You know what I mean? Trying to find a cure for childhood cancer. Ours impacts families, as in we donate to the family that we're doing the show for, not the American Cancer Society who will give them $1 of every $1,000 raised. Something like that. Yeah. I want them to walk away with what they can, and that whether that be 500, 1,500, 2,000, 13,000, what we can raise, that's our goal, and if we get corporate sponsors, then we're gonna take this a lot further, and these families are gonna walk away with a lot of money, and that's my goal. That's my goal.
Yeah. Well, it sounds great, and from what you've told me, you've overcome some adversity in your life, and from going from what you went through as a adolescent and young adults, you should commend yourself for what you have done. And people that are watching this or listening, if take note of this, you can change yourself if you want to, and make yourself a better person, the person that you want to be. So, kudos to you, my friend. I have a lot more respect for you just talking to you this last 45 minutes, and I just got a couple more questions. Okay, so my question is, we're going to kind of go back to wrestling. Who's been one of your favorite people to work with, either in the ring against them or a tag team partner or whatever? Who's been one of your favorite guys, or male or female, that you've worked with that comes to mind for you that you just flowed well?
Jason Jones is one of them.
Okay.
I've been wrestling Jason Jones for 20 years, man.
Yeah.
He was one of my top, first 10 matches in my rookie year, I've been wrestling Jason for a long time, and there's this guy named Justin Lee out of Tulsa, Broken Arrow, I guess, Broken Arrow Bad Boy, I guess it could be that. I've been wrestling him, another guy I've been wrestling for probably about 15 to 16 years,
Yes.
And I've had a few other guys that I can go out there and just say it's an amazing time, but right now, the most fun I'm having right now is with my buddy Alex Royal. Like, we're the Rock and Royal Express, So it's like, it's just we're having a time of our life because it's like he's his character, I'm my character, and we're ourselves out there, and I'm having a time of my life doing things with him. So like, I'd have to say that, but like, I don't really like have like, I guess like, I base myself like off moments, like favorite moments, like I can't say that, hey, what's my favorite match or any of that, because like I don't know. I just know I try to create moments.
Yeah,
that's all I've ever do. It's like just create freaking moments to remember, because that's what people remember, or moments, not the matches. You and I could talk about Dusty and Flair all night long, and what we're going to do is we're going to talk about moments that they had, not matches that they had. So, but like, everybody that I'm around right now, I love to death, and I'm having a time of my life with them. Some of them I feel like aren't there for the cause; they're more or less there for their ego. Which, I mean, I guess I can't be mad about that. They're still putting in their time, and they're still giving me their all for the cause. And I can't blame someone not being down with the cause. It doesn't make you a bad person. What makes you a bad person is when you go out and you spread lies about the cause or lies about the promoters and stuff. That's what makes you a bad person. But not like being down with the cause. That doesn't affect, like matter of fact, Dutch Hagen, my buddy of mine, Dutch Hagen, he wrestles for me. He's wrestled for me since day one. And he straight up told me, hey man, I can't go to the hospitals. I can't, man. Like I physically, I can't pull it off. Like I don't have it in me to see them like that, because I couldn't imagine my children like that, And I'm the complete opposite, because I think of, what if my child was there? I want someone like me showing up and showing my child a little bit of love, or helping my child out. So it's a little different, because like, just like right now, it's like everybody I'm around is a blessing to be around. So
understand that. It sounds like a great organization, a lot of great talent. Okay, one question, and you don't have to say a name or anything, but I just wanted to know, sometimes I get no. Have you ever had heat with anybody outside of the ring that you've worked with, like for real, but maybe it got resolved later, or it hasn't?
I've had a few. Like, I think more people have heat with me than I have with them, because I have this passion for professional wrestling that they don't. And I look at professional wrestling different than they look at it. It's a playground to them. It's work to me. It's real life to me. It's a fake life to them. You see what I'm saying? So like, I'm cut from a different cloth than everybody else. And if we're cut from the same cloth, I'm cut a little bit different. So I've had heat, like 20 years, of course, I've had heat. But all my heat I've ever had has been resolved with a friendly handshake or a friendly conversation. Nothing's ever led to someone getting their ass whooped or any of that, because like, it's not that damn serious. There's a few guys right now, like out there, that I get wind that they're running my name to the mud, talking about me, but I'm not going to give them the time of day, mention who they are, or worry about what they're saying, because like, that's what I'm gonna have to deal with my entire life is jealousy. People they'll spread things about you to make you look bad, so they look better. And that's okay. It's okay, because like, in the long run, A, karma, B, the truth comes out, and C, Tim Rockwell takes note and screenshots of everything he's ever done. So I got proof. Anyways, but literally, more people probably have heat with me than I have with them. As of right now, I don't hate nobody. I don't have no heat with nobody. I think everybody, not not everybody deserves to be in professional wrestling. I will never, ever, ever, ever say that, because I feel like professional wrestling isn't for everybody,
Right.
but it's watchable for everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying just because you can't make it as a pro wrestler that you don't have a spot in the professional wrestling business.
Right.
I'm a different beast. So people will hate you for doing good, or you could do a million good things in the world and they just hate you for the one bad thing you did, you know. So you got to live with it, man. That's part of the wrestling business, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think you're doing a lot of good things right now, especially with your promotion and all the work you're doing.
It's opinions of guys like you that matter to me. That's
I
what matters
appreciate
to me.
that. You know, I couldn't be a professional wrestler. One, I'm too dang old, and two, if I was involved in the business other than this, I'd probably have to be like a ref or a manager. That's about my level I could be at right now. So,
or you could be like backstage help, you know. Like,
or something, right? Yeah.
Like there's always a spot for somebody in professional wrestling. I just want them to know that, you know, like it isn't always in the ring, you know. And sometimes it's a lot funner outside the ring, because when you turn 50 to 60, you don't have a bad hip, you don't have none of that bad stuff, you know what I mean? But you was around it and you had fun, you know. And that's what I tried to explain to people. And then people think I'm a bad guy because I'm like, oh, he doesn't want me to be a pro wrestler. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying if pro wrestling doesn't work out for you, this is what you can't do.
Yeah.
So, like, misunderstanding. I get it.
No, yeah. All right, one more question. What are you doing? What are you doing now? I know you got a show coming up. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, let's see. Actually, this Saturday I'll be in Harrison, Arkansas. You gonna be there?
Probably not this Saturday. Sorry, I'll be the one in Springfield in November.
Okay, I'll be there in Springfield. Are you from the Springfield area?
Yeah, I live outside of Bolivar, Missouri, so it's about 45-minute drive to there. So I will be at the one in Springfield on November 12th.
November 12th. All right, I will be there. But anyways, I'll be in Harrison, Arkansas this Saturday. The following weekend is going to be WFC's 11-year anniversary show in Tulsa at the Hope Center Arena, where we have 6 huge matches. One of them being a 10-man tag match where it's my presidency versus Richard Pierce's directorship. So if he beats me, he's president of WFC. If I beat him, he's gone. I got a few more dates coming up. I got November 7th. I got Matt Cardona and a few of those other guys coming in.
Okay. Good.
November 19th, we're doing a benefit for this little girl with cancer named Ava and Wagner.
Okay.
December 10th, we're doing December 3rd, I'll be back in Harrison. November 12th, I'll be in Springfield. And then December 10th was thankfully it's going to be my last wrestling show of the year. So I can spend some time with
your family,
It's going to be a WFC Christmas show. Do a huge Christmas show for the children and everything. So, and then 2023 is going to be the big shit, man. It's going to be huge. I mean, that's what we're doing. That's WFC. I mean, wrestling from mid-states. I'm trying to slow my wrestling down a little bit, you know, but I can't. I just got to keep going, man. Got to keep going while I can do it, man.
Yes. Understand. So the Tulsa event, October 22nd. I want to mention that because, that's a big event for you guys. And that's going to be great. I'm looking forward to the show on November 12th in Springfield with Mid-States. And like I said, one more time, ladies and gentlemen, the natural born villain, Tim Rockwell. Sir, thank you for coming on tonight. I will post your social media platforms, Tim, on our description below, and your WFC information as well. So if people want to get tickets or find out more information, they can just click on those links for you. So thanks again for coming on. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
All right, everybody, if you're listening, thank you. If you're watching, thank you. And if you haven't, please subscribe, and we will talk to you soon.